Unexpected journey. Dr. Samantha Chen squinted at the peculiar artifact nestled in her palms. The smooth, opalescent object pulsed with an otherworldly glow, its surface etched with intricate symbols unlike any she'd encountered in her years as a xenorchaeologist. The Amazon expedition had yielded many fascinating finds, but this was extraordinary. Dr. Chen, her assistant's voice crackled through her earpiece. The storm's picking up. We need to pack up and head back to base camp. Samantha's fingers traced the artifact's contours, mesmerized by its rhythmic pulsing. Just a few more minutes, Jake. I've never seen anything like this. The energy readings are off the charts. A distant rumble of thunder punctuated her words. The jungle canopy swayed ominously overhead, heavy droplets beginning to pelt the leaf-strewn ground. Samantha carefully placed the artifact into her specimen bag, securing it tightly. As she stood, a blinding flash of lightning struck a nearby tree. The accompanying thunderclap was deafening, and Samantha stumbled, her hand instinctively clutching the bag containing the artifact. In that moment, she felt a strange tingling sensation spreading through her body. The world around her began to blur, colors swirling into a dizzying vortex. Samantha tried to call out, but her voice was swallowed by the maelstrom. The last thing she saw was the frightened face of her assistant before everything dissolved into a kaleidoscope of light and sound. When Samantha's senses finally returned, she found herself lying face down on unfamiliar terrain. The air felt different, thinner with an odd metallic tang. Groaning, she pushed herself up, blinking away the disorientation. What she saw made her breath catch in her throat. Two suns hung in an alien sky, one a brilliant white, and the other a soft, pulsing red. The landscape before her was a riot of colors she had no names for. Crystalline structures that seemed to grow like plants, their facets refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. In the distance, something that looked like a cross between a mountain and a living organism undulated slowly. This is impossible, Samantha whispered, her scientific mind reeling. She fumbled for her specimen bag, relieved to find it still slung across her shoulder. The artifact inside thrummed with increased intensity, as if resonating with its surroundings. A wave of nausea and dizziness washed over her, and Samantha realized the gravity here was slightly less than Earth's. Her body was struggling to adapt to the alien environment. She needed to find shelter, water, and figure out what had happened. As Samantha took her first tentative steps in this new world, 1,000 questions raced through her mind. Where was she? How had she gotten here? And most pressingly, how would she survive? The crystalline growths crunched beneath her boots as she walked, each step sending tiny rainbows dancing across the ground. The air, while breathable, left a metallic aftertaste in her mouth. Samantha's training kicked in, and she began cataloging her surroundings, trying to make sense of this alien ecosystem. Hours passed as Samantha trekked across the bizarre landscape. Her water supply was dwindling and fatigue was setting in. The twin suns had barely moved in the sky, suggesting a much longer day-night cycle than Earth's. Just as despair began to creep in, Samantha spotted something on the horizon that made her heart leap. In the distance, nestled between two towering crystal formations, was what appeared to be a structure. It was unlike any building she'd ever seen, a graceful, spiraling tower that seemed to be made of the same living crystal as the surrounding flora. It pulsed with an inner light, and as Samantha drew closer, she could make out movement around its base. Her excitement was quickly tempered by caution. If there was intelligent life here, how would they react to her presence? Samantha's hand unconsciously tightened around the artifact in her bag. Somehow, she knew it was connected to her arrival on this world. Perhaps it held the key to her return as well. As she approached the Crystal City, Samantha's scientific curiosity warred with her instinct for self-preservation. The structures were even more breathtaking up close, their surfaces constantly shifting in subtle patterns. She could see figures moving about, distinctly non-human in their fluid, almost liquid-like movements. Samantha's heart raced as she realized She was about to make first contact with an alien species. Years of theoretical training hadn't prepared her for this moment. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever came next. Suddenly, one of the alien figures turned, its iridescent body shimmering as it caught sight of her. Samantha froze, unsure whether to run or stand her ground. The being's reaction would determine her fate on this strange new world. As the alien approached, its form seeming to flow rather than walk, Samantha's scientific mind kicked into overdrive. She observed its vital structure, the way light played across its semi-translucent skin, the curious appendages that might serve as sensory organs. The being stopped a few meters away, regarding her with what Samantha could only interpret as curiosity. It made a series of melodic trills and clicks, clearly attempting communication. Samantha raised her empty hands slowly, trying to convey that she meant no harm. "Hello," she said softly, knowing the word would be meaningless, but hoping her tone would communicate her peaceful intentions. "My name is Samantha. I'm lost." The alien tilted what Samantha assumed was its head, the surface of its body rippling with patterns of light. It extended an appendage towards her, not quite touching, but close enough that Samantha could feel a faint electrical charge in the air between them. In that moment, as human and alien regarded each other with mutual fascination, Samantha knew her life would never be the same. She had crossed the vastness of space, whether by accident or design, and now stood at the threshold of a new world. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she faced them not just as a scientist, but as an ambassador for all of humanity. The suns continued their slow dance across the alien sky as Samantha took her first tentative steps towards the Crystal City. Her journey of discovery was just beginning. First contact. The alien being before Samantha pulsed with an array of colors, its iridescent skin shifting through hues she had no names for. As they stood in this silent tableau, more of the creatures emerged from the crystal structures, their bodies flowing with an almost liquid grace. Samantha's heart raced, her mind struggling to process the alien forms before her. Their bodies seemed to defy the laws of physics as she understood them, constantly shifting and reshaping. Yet there was an unmistakable intelligence in the way they moved and observed her. The first alien, which Samantha had mentally dubbed Shimmer, made another series of musical trills and clicks. To her astonishment, she felt a faint, tingling sensation in her mind, as if the sounds were bypassing her ears entirely. Suddenly, a wave of vertigo washed over her. Samantha stumbled, her knees buckling. The long hours of trekking across the alien landscape, combined with the shock of her situation, finally took their toll. As consciousness slipped away, she saw the aliens converging around her, their bodies pulsing with what might have been concern. When Samantha awoke, she found herself in a chamber that seemed to be alive. The walls pulsed with a soft, bioluminescent glow, and the air was filled with a faint, soothing hum. She was resting on a surface that conformed perfectly to her body, almost as if it were adapting to her shape in real time. As her eyes adjusted to the dim light, Samantha realized she wasn't alone. Shimmer and two other aliens were in the room, their bodies undulating gently as they observed her. The tingling sensation in her mind returned, stronger this time, and to her amazement, she began to understand snippets of their communication. "The visitor awakens," came a thought, not in words exactly, but in concepts and emotions that her brain struggled to translate. "Are you well, traveler from beyond?" Samantha sat up slowly, marveling at how the surface beneath her shifted to support her. I think so," she said aloud, unsure if they could understand her spoken words. "Thank you for helping me. Where am I?" The aliens' bodies rippled with patterns that Samantha intuitively recognized as expressions of relief and curiosity. One of them, slightly smaller than Shimmer and with a more bluish tint, moved closer. "You are in the harmonic spire, a place of healing and learning," came the thought response. "We are the Lumma, keepers of the crystal songs. Your arrival was unexpected." Samantha's scientific mind raced with questions. How can I understand you? And how did I get here? Shimmer's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. The crystal songs flow through all things, connecting minds across the vastness of space. Your artifact, it gestured to Samantha's bag, which sat nearby. It sings with an ancient melody. It brought you to us. The implications were staggering. Samantha reached for her bag, pulling out the opalescent artifact. It hummed in her hands, its glow synchronizing with the pulsing of the chamber around them. "This is incredible," Samantha breathed. "I'm Dr. Samantha Chen, a xenorchaeologist from Earth. I found this artifact during an expedition. I had no idea it was capable of teleporting me across the galaxy." The third llama, its form a swirling mix of green and gold, moved forward. "Earth, we have no knowledge of this world. You are the first of your kind we have encountered, Samantha Chen." The weight of her situation suddenly hit Samantha full force. She was light years from home, possibly in another galaxy entirely, with no clear way to return. Tears welled up in her eyes as the magnitude of her isolation threatened to overwhelm her. Sensing her distress, the llama's bodies began to pulse with soothing patterns. A wave of calm washed over Samantha, not erasing her fears but making them more manageable. "Do not despair, Samantha Chen," Shimmer communicated. "You are welcome among us. We will help you understand the crystal songs and perhaps find a way to return you to your Earth." Over the next few days, though time was difficult to measure in this world of ever-present light, Samantha immersed herself in learning about the llama and their society. The crystal songs, she discovered, were more than just a means of communication. They were the foundation of the llama's entire civilization, a complex system of vibrational energy that they used for everything from building their living structures to powering their technology. The llama were fascinated by Samantha in turn. Her solid form, so different from their fluid bodies, was a source of endless curiosity. They marveled at her hair, her clothing, and especially her laughter, which sent ripples of delight through their communal consciousness. Samantha learned that the llama had no concept of individual names. They identified each other through unique vibrational signatures, which Samantha's mind interpreted as colors and patterns. She continued to think of her first contact as Shimmer, but came to recognize the others by their distinct songs. As her understanding of the crystal songs grew, Samantha found she could communicate more easily with the llama. The constant background hum she had initially noticed was, in fact, a vast network of information and energy flowing through the crystal structures and the llama themselves. One day, as Samantha was examining her artifact under the guidance of the llama, she thought of as Coral. She had a breakthrough. "This isn't just a teleportation device," she exclaimed. "It's a key to the crystal songs themselves." Coral's body shimmered with excitement. "Yes, Samantha Chen, you begin to understand. The artifact is ancient, from a time when the songs flowed more freely between worlds. It is a bridge between realms." The implications were staggering. If she could learn to fully harness the artifact's power, it might not only be her ticket home, but could also revolutionize humanity's understanding of the universe. As exciting as this discovery was, Samantha found herself torn. The more she learned about the llama and their world, the more she felt a deep connection to this place. The crystal songs were awakening something within her, a sense of harmony and purpose she had never experienced on Earth. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon in a spectacular display of color, Samantha stood atop the harmonic spire with Shimmer. The crystal city stretched out below them, a glittering tapestry of light and sound. "Your world is beautiful," Samantha said softly. "I never imagined I'd experience anything like this." Shimmer's form rippled with warmth. "And yet, we sense your longing for home. The songs speak of your conflict." Samantha nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I miss Earth, my family, my work. But being here, learning about the crystal songs, it feels like I've discovered a part of myself I never knew existed." "The path forward is not always clear," Shimmer communicated. "But know this, Samantha Chen, whether you choose to return to your world or remain among us, You have a place here. You are part of the song now." As the last light faded from the sky, Samantha felt a sense of peace wash over her. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever choices she would have to make, she knew she was no longer alone in the universe. She had found a second home among the stars, with a family she never could have imagined. The Crystal City hummed its nightly melody, and Samantha let the song flow through her, connecting her to this wondrous new world and to the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Adaptation and discovery. As days turned into weeks, Samantha found herself adapting to life among the Lama with surprising ease. The initial shock of her translocation had given way to an insatiable curiosity about her new surroundings. Every day brought new discoveries, each more fascinating than the last. Samantha's quarters in the Harmonic Spire had become a fusion of human practicality and Lama biomechanical marvels. She had fashioned a makeshift desk from crystal growths, their surfaces responding to her touch and providing holographic displays of her research notes. Her earth clothing hung neatly beside shimmering garments gifted by the Lama, gossamer thin fabrics that adjusted to the wearer's body temperature and could change color at will. One morning, as Samantha was reviewing her latest findings on the crystal songs, a familiar ripple of energy announced Shimmer's arrival. The Lama's form was particularly vibrant today, pulsing with hues that Samantha had come to associate with excitement. "Samantha Chen." Shimmer's thoughts resonated in her mind. "We have made a breakthrough in deciphering the ancient melodies within your artifact. Will you join us in the resonance chamber?" Samantha's heart raced with anticipation. Of course. Lead the way. As they made their way through the twisting corridors of the spire, Samantha marveled at how natural it felt to navigate the living architecture. The crystal walls seemed to sing to her, guiding her steps and responding to her presence. She had learned that the entire city was, in a sense, alive, a vast, interconnected organism that the Lama lived in harmony with. The resonance chamber was a vast, dome-shaped room at the heart of the spire. Its walls were lined with crystal formations of varying sizes, each humming with a unique frequency. At the center stood a pedestal, upon which rested Samantha's artifact. Coral and several other Lama were already present, their bodies undulating in complex patterns that Samantha recognized as an advanced form of the crystal songs. As she approached, the artifact began to pulse more intensely, its glow synchronizing with the rhythms of the chamber. "We believe we have isolated the frequency that brought you to our world," Coral communicated, its form shimmering with scholarly excitement. "If we can replicate and amplify it, we may be able to open a stable portal to Earth." Samantha's breath caught in her throat. Shimmer's form rippled with what Samantha had come to recognize as a gesture of caution. The process is not without risk. The energies involved are immense, and our understanding of interdimensional travel is still limited. Coral added, its thoughts tinged with scientific curiosity. "We will need to attune the chamber to the artifact's resonance frequency. Samantha Chen, your connection to the artifact may be crucial in stabilizing the portal." As the Lama began their preparations, Samantha found herself lost in thought. The prospect of returning to Earth was tantalizing, but a part of her hesitated. In the weeks she had spent on this alien world, she had forged deep connections and made groundbreaking discoveries. The thought of leaving it all behind was unexpectedly painful. The chamber hummed to life, crystal formations vibrating with increasing intensity. Samantha stepped forward, placing her hands on the pedestal holding the artifact. As she did so, she felt a surge of energy course through her body, connecting her to the crystal songs in a way she had never experienced before. Images flashed through her mind, glimpses of Earth, her family, her colleagues. But intertwined with these were visions of the Crystal City, the twin suns setting over an alien horizon, the flowing forms of the Lama. Samantha realized with startling clarity that her heart now belonged to two worlds. As the energy in the chamber reached a crescendo, a shimmering portal began to form above the artifact. Through its swirling surface, Samantha could make out a familiar landscape, the Amazon rainforest where her journey had begun. "It's working," she exclaimed, her voice filled with awe. But as quickly as it had appeared, the portal began to fluctuate wildly. The crystal formations in the chamber groaned under the strain, and Samantha felt the artifact growing hot beneath her hands. "Something's wrong," Shimmer communicated urgently. "The portal is destabilizing. We must shut it down." Samantha's scientific instincts kicked in. She focused intently on the artifact, trying to understand the complex energies flowing through it. In a flash of insight, she realized what was happening. "It's not just a portal to Earth," she shouted over the growing cacophony. "It's connecting to multiple dimensions simultaneously. We need to isolate the correct frequency." Working in perfect synchronization, Samantha and the llama began to modulate the crystal formations, trying to fine-tune the portal's resonance. Sweat beaded on Samantha's brow as she pushed her newfound connection to the crystal songs to its limit. Just when it seemed the chamber would tear itself apart, there was a brilliant flash of light. The chaotic energies suddenly snapped into alignment, and the portal stabilized, showing a clear view of Earth. As the dust settled, Samantha found herself facing a monumental decision. The portal to Earth hung before her, a shimmering gateway to her old life. But as she looked around at the llama, at the wonders she had discovered in this alien world, she realized her journey was far from over. "I can't leave," she said softly, her voice filled with emotion. "Not yet. There's still so much to learn, so much we could discover together." Shimmer's form pulsed with warmth and understanding. "The songs speak of your courage, Samantha Chen. You honor us with your choice." Coral added, its thoughts tinged with excitement. "Perhaps we can use this stable connection to establish communication with your world, a bridge between our civilizations." As the implications of this new possibility sank in, Samantha felt a surge of hope and purpose. She had come to this world as a lost traveler, but now she stood as a pioneer, poised to forge a connection between two vastly different civilizations. The portal to Earth continued to shimmer, a reminder of the path that had led her here and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Samantha Chen, once an earthbound archaeologist, now stood at the threshold of a new era of interstellar cooperation and discovery. As the twin suns set on another day in the Crystal City, Samantha knew that her greatest adventures were just beginning. The crystal songs hummed with promise, and she was ready to add her voice to their eternal melody. Crisis and cooperation. Months had passed since Samantha's decision to remain with the llama, and her life had fallen into a rhythm as complex and beautiful as the crystal songs themselves. The stable portal to Earth had become a conduit for communication and cultural exchange, with Samantha serving as the primary intermediary between the two worlds. Earth governments and scientific institutions were still reeling from the revelation of intelligent alien life, but already collaborative research projects were underway. Samantha spent her days translating llama concepts into terms her human colleagues could understand, while also helping the llama grasp the intricacies of human society. One particular morning, as Samantha was preparing for a video conference with the United Nations Science Council, she felt an unusual tremor run through the crystal structures of the harmonic spire. At first, she dismissed it as a minor fluctuation in the city's living architecture, but when a second, stronger tremor followed, she knew something was amiss. Shimmer flowed into her quarters, its form rippling with urgent patterns. "Samantha Chen, we need your assistance. The songs speak of great disturbance." Samantha quickly followed Shimmer to the resonance chamber, where a group of llama were gathered around a large crystalline display. The image it showed made Samantha's blood run cold. A massive asteroid, easily the size of a small moon, was on a collision course with the llama homeworld. "How long do we have?" Samantha asked, her mind already racing through possible solutions. Coral, its form pulsing with concerned hues, responded, "The impact will occur in approximately 30 of your Earth days. Our defenses are not equipped to handle a threat of this magnitude." Samantha's heart sank. The llama, for all their advanced understanding of the crystal songs, had never developed the kind of spacefaring technology that might be needed to divert or destroy the asteroid. Their harmony with their world had never required it, until now. "We need help," Samantha said firmly, "and I know where we can get it." Over the next few hours, Samantha worked tirelessly to coordinate an emergency session with Earth's leading scientists and space agencies. The portal hummed with activity as data streamed back and forth between the two worlds. As Samantha explained the situation to her human colleagues, she could see the shock and concern on their faces. But there was something else too. A determination, a spark of the indomitable human spirit she had almost forgotten in her time away. "Dr. Chen," the NASA director spoke up, his voice filled with resolve. "You've shown us wonders beyond our imagining these past months. Now it's our turn to help. We'll need to work fast, but I believe we can modify our asteroid redirect technology to work on this scale." A surge of hope coursed through Samantha. "Thank you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "But we'll need more than just technology. We need to find a way to integrate your methods with the crystal songs. This has to be a true collaboration." And so began one of the most ambitious joint efforts in the history of both civilizations. Earth sent its best engineers and scientists through the portal, while the Lumma shared their deep understanding of harmonic energies and matter manipulation. Samantha found herself at the heart of it all, bridging the gap between two radically different approaches to problem solving. There were moments of frustration, cultural misunderstandings, and seemingly insurmountable technical challenges. But with each passing day, humans and Lumma grew to appreciate each other's strengths. The humans marveled at the Lumma's ability to manipulate matter through harmonic resonance, while the Lumma were impressed by humanity's ingenuity and adaptability in the face of crisis. Together, they began to devise a plan that combined the best of both worlds. As the days ticked by, a massive structure took shape in orbit around the Lumma homeworld. It was a hybrid of human engineering and Lumma crystal technology, a colossal harmonic amplifier that would use the power of the crystal songs to create a gravitational deflection field. With less than a week left before impact, the device was ready for testing. Samantha stood in the control center, surrounded by a mix of humans and Lumma, all working in tense harmony. As the countdown reached 0, she held her breath. The amplifier hummed to life, its crystal components resonating with a sound that shook Samantha to her core. A beam of pure harmonic energy lanced out into space, invisible to the eye, but clear as day on their sensors. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly but surely, the asteroid's trajectory began to shift. A cheer went up from the human contingent, while the Lumma pulsed with colors of joy and relief. As the asteroid swung wide of the planet, narrowly avoiding catastrophe, Samantha felt a profound sense of accomplishment wash over her. This crisis had done more than just save a world. It had forged an unbreakable bond between two civilizations. In the aftermath of their success, humans and Lumma alike looked to the future with new eyes. The collaboration had opened up possibilities neither species had imagined alone. Samantha knew that her role as a bridge between worlds was more important than ever. As she watched humans and Lumma celebrating together, their differences fading in the face of shared triumph, Samantha Chen realized that she had found her true calling. She was no longer just an archaeologist or a translator. She was a builder of bridges across the stars, helping to shape a future where humanity and the Lumma could face any challenge together. The Crystal City hummed with a new song, a harmony of human and Lumma voices intertwined. And as the twin suns set on this historic day, Samantha knew that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. A new family among the stars. Years had passed since the asteroid crisis, and the alliance between Earth and the Lumma had flourished beyond anyone's wildest dreams. The once impenetrable barrier of interstellar distance had been bridged by a network of stable portals, allowing for unprecedented cultural, scientific, and technological exchange. Samantha Chen, now recognized as a key architect of this cosmic friendship, found herself at the center of a new initiative. The United Galactic Council, a joint governing body of humans and Lumma, had tasked her with establishing the first true interspecies colony, a place where humans and Lama could live and work together in harmony. As Samantha stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed space station orbiting a pristine Earth-like world, she marveled at how far they had come. The planet below, dubbed Harmony by popular vote, boasted a unique ecosystem that seemed tailor-made for both human and Lama inhabitants. "Quite a view, isn't it, Dr. Chen?" A voice came from behind her. Samantha turned to see Admiral Jessica Torres, her human co-leader for the colony project. Samantha smiled warmly. "It never gets old, Jess. And please, after all we've been through, I think you can call me Sam." As if on cue, a familiar ripple of energy announced the arrival of Shimmer, who had become one of the Lama's most respected ambassadors. Its form glowed with hues of anticipation and joy. "The first colonists are ready for transport," Shimmer communicated. "A historic moment approaches." Together, the three of them made their way to the main teleportation hub. The cavernous chamber was filled with a mix of humans and Lama, all preparing for their journey to the surface. Samantha felt a swell of emotion as she observed the easy camaraderie between the two species, a far cry from the cautious first encounters of years past. As the colonists began to teleport to the surface in groups, Samantha reflected on the challenges they had overcome to reach this point. There had been cultural misunderstandings, technological hurdles, and even pockets of resistance from both humans and Lama who feared change. But the shared vision of a united future had always prevailed. Once the last group had departed, Samantha, Jessica, and Shimmer prepared for their own journey to the surface. As the teleportation beam engulfed them, Samantha felt the familiar tingle of excitement that came with stepping into the unknown. They materialized on a hilltop overlooking the fledgling colony. Crystal spires, reminiscent of the Lama homeworld, but infused with Earth architectural elements, rose gracefully alongside more traditional human structures. In the distance, a shimmering dome encased a massive garden, where Earth plants and alien flora grew side by side in carefully cultivated harmony. As they made their way through the bustling settlement, Samantha was struck by the seamless integration of human and Lama technologies. Holographic interfaces responded to both voice commands and the subtle vibrations of Lama communication. The very streets seemed alive, pulsing with a soft glow that adjusted to the needs of both species. Their tour brought them to the colony's central plaza, where a crowd had gathered for the official inauguration ceremony. Samantha took her place on the stage alongside Jessica, Shimmer, and other dignitaries from both worlds. As she looked out over the sea of faces, human and Lama alike, Samantha felt a profound sense of accomplishment. This was more than just a colony. It was a testament to the power of cooperation, understanding, and the shared dream of a better future. When it came time for her to speak, Samantha stepped forward, her voice carrying across the plaza. "Friends, colleagues, fellow pioneers, today we stand at the dawn of a new era. Years ago, I found myself unexpectedly thrust into an alien world, alone and afraid. But in that moment of crisis, I discovered not just a new civilization, but a new family." She gestured to Shimmer and the other Lama present. "Our differences, in form, in thought, in the very way we perceive the universe, once seemed insurmountable. But we've learned that those very differences, when embraced with open hearts and curious minds, become our greatest strength." Samantha's voice swelled with emotion as she continued. "This colony is more than just a settlement on a new world. It is a blueprint for our future among the stars. A future where the boundaries between species fade away, and we stand united in our quest for knowledge, for understanding, and for the betterment of all." As she spoke, the crystal songs that had become such an integral part of her life seemed to resonate with her words. The very air thrummed with a harmony of human and Lama energies. "Let harmony be a shining example of what we can achieve together," Samantha concluded. "May it be the first of many such colonies, each a testament to the infinite possibilities that await us when we reach out to one another across the vastness of space." The crowd erupted in a mixture of human applause and Lama light displays, the two forms of celebration blending into something entirely new and beautiful. As the ceremony concluded and the colonists dispersed to continue their work, Samantha found a quiet moment with Shimmer and Jessica. The three of them stood together, overlooking the thriving colony that was as much their child as it was a symbol of interstellar cooperation. "You know," Jessica said with a grin, "when I joined the space program, I never imagined I'd end up here. It's like something out of a science fiction story." Shimmer's form rippled with amusement. "The universe, it seems, has a penchant for surpassing even our wildest imaginations." Samantha nodded, a contented smile playing on her lips. "That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Every discovery, every challenge we overcome together, just opens up new horizons." As the twin suns of harmony began to set, casting the colony in a warm ethereal glow, Samantha Chen felt a profound sense of peace. The lost and frightened archaeologist who had stumbled into an alien world was gone. In her place stood a woman who had found her true calling as a bridge between civilizations, a builder of cosmic families. The crystal songs hummed softly in the background, a constant reminder of the journey that had brought her here. And as night fell on this new world, Samantha knew that the greatest adventure of all, the forging of a united galactic community, was only just beginning. In the years to come, Harmony would indeed become a model for interspecies cooperation, spawning similar colonies across the galaxy. And at the heart of it all, the unlikely friendship between a human scientist and a race of crystalline beings would be remembered as the spark that ignited a new age of cosmic understanding. Samantha Chen, once a stranger in a strange land, had truly found her place among the stars, not just as an explorer or a diplomat, but as a vital thread in the rich tapestry of a new, united galactic family.